Bam. We're live. Phil Toon. 10 minutes. That's all we got him for, people. You selfish fucks. He's got to go to sleep. Oh, my God. Are you tripping? Or are you like, yeah, it is the way it's supposed to be?
I'm tired.
You kicked butt today. Phil, this is Will up in the corner with the Dave Castro shirt on, the exclusive. And the guy with the giant beard is Brian Friend. What a day today. Thank you. That was awesome watching you handle your business.
Thank you, man. I'm still coughing from that workout.
That you're talking about the second workout with the thrusters.
Yeah.
We saw after the event was over, Vellner went outside the stadium to where like the corral area was, and he got down on all four on the grass for about 3 minutes. Does that seem about right?
Yeah, I left the floor as quick as possible, and then I saw a security guard's chair, and I asked if I could just sprawl out there for a few minutes.
Dude, there were people hobbling off the floor like straight leg, bow-legged. I mean, it was nasty.
There was serious lactic acid on that 9. That was enjoyable.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here after day 1 of Wodapalooza 2022. It's a 4-day event. They did 2 workouts today. In first place is Patrick Vellner, and second place is Dallin Pepper, and in third place is Phil Toon. And so they changed the points a little bit. I think earlier you and Dallin were actually tied for points.
Oh yeah.
And did they change that, Brian? What am I looking at here? Or did I misread that?
There had been a scoring error in the first event that ended up moving Dallin up 1 place, so he got 3 more points.
Okay.
You didn't miss. What you saw earlier was like you did see that earlier, and then they updated it. Okay. That happens. I mean, that happens. Different things happen with scoring, reviews, disputes, etc.
Hey, I've never followed an event that updates the leaderboard as fast as Wodapalooza. It is crazy. For the fans, it's awesome.
Yeah, they have a pretty good system.
When you look at this, when you looked at these workouts, Phil, is this how you imagined it?
The first one, I mean, there were a lot of variables we couldn't account for in training. I mean, we didn't have access to a flip set, nor have I ever used one. I had no idea what the jump rope was going to be. I assumed it was going to be an RPM rope, but it turned out to be like, I think a rogue rope with the heavy handles. I don't even know. So I was pretty nervous for that one, to be honest. And I was just super anxious to get the day started. I mean, first comp in a while, so I was just ready to get out there, and I felt pretty good on it. My shirt kept getting caught in my sled, which is super weird. But besides that, it was good. But the second one, I definitely knew. I knew I could do pretty well on, so I wanted to attack that one and try to get some points there.
Dude, that was impressive because you went out pretty aggressively, and I was like, "Whew, I don't know," but you held on, and each round you were really strong.
Yeah, I knew I would. I know I'm not as good of a biker as probably some of those guys like Hopper and stuff. But I know like the thrusters, I can handle them. I literally did this workout 3 weeks ago, pretty much the same thing with legless rope climbs. So I had an idea of what it was going to feel like. So I pretty much just tried to do the same exact strategy. And chest bars are just a little quicker.
Just to give an idea for people, like how much do you have to think about that many reps at 135 thruster? Is that something that's routine for you, or is that like I gotta like get up for that?
I mean, it's not enjoyable. Like anytime you do more than like 5 thrusters at 135, it's not fun. I mean, I would say the whole workout's the 15. Mm-hmm. That's just what it comes down to. So I knew if I like hammered the bike too hard, I'd either rest a little bit before I picked it up, or I was going to have to break it up. But if I got through those thrusters unbroken, I knew I'd be able to finish strong.
Anything more than 5 is not fun. And you did 45. You did those 21 unbroken, huh?
Yep.
Is that a first for you to do 21 thrusters with 135 unbroken?
Yeah, huge PR.
Serious?
No.
Oh.
that's not a super hard thing, Sevon.
I just don't know.
For me and Sevon, it might be.
Oh, destroy me. So that is something you've done before. That's like Fran at 135. It's like you've done that. You do it unbroken, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, if it was regular Fran, it would probably be at 135 without the bike. Those thrusters would be pretty interesting.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
Less rest between the thrusters. Like,
Oh,
and I like chilled on the bike, but nice that I got a little bit more rest before getting back to the 15.
so we were talking about that. So the bike was a place to try to get your breath and your heartbeat. I mean, not down, but just like under control, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can ever quite do that on the bike, but I knew I wasn't going to hammer myself there. So
But it was cool to watch. It was cool to watch you guys because you would pull ahead on thrusters and pull-ups, and then actually I think it was Vellner was like taking the lead on the bike. So while you were kind of recovering there, it seemed like that's where he was pushing it the hardest. And that's a cool workout when different athletes can show their strengths differently.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Phil, I'm gonna kick this guy off the podcast. He says it's a miracle Phil's doing this out there at his age. I promise you, I will. He will not be allowed back on ever again. He's done. He's done. Banished him. I apologize for that. Vellner, when we interviewed Vellner, and he told us that first workout, the flipped off, will be one that the athletes will feel in every workout. Did you feel that in the second workout? I think specifically he meant the GHD sit-ups. Is that why he was saying that, Brian?
I think he thought it would be a pretty taxing opening workout for a competition.
I was thinking CNS.
I agree.
Tax your CNS.
Sure.
What's that? What's your CNS? Do I have one of those?
It's like if you do a max back squat, it's hard to do any workout after that because your body is just taking a toll.
Your central nervous system, that one, that CNS?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Phil, after a day like that, what's the recovery process tonight?
One
podcast.
Yes, one podcast. Very quick. You only got me for a few more minutes. I just ate some food, shower, stretch. Gonna eat a little bit more food, maybe some peanut butter and jellies or something, some cookies. And then tomorrow I have a massage therapist coming to work on me in the morning, so I'm pretty pumped for that. And then hopefully we can throw around some weight tomorrow.
It's pretty nice that you got the morning to do what you need to do.
Today it sucked because I was just like bubble guts, anxious, just ready to get out there. But it's going to be very nice, especially for tomorrow. I mean, both these workouts today, in my opinion, were just absolutely brutal on the body. Like I remember when I did friendly brand in semifinals, I did that day one and nothing else, and I couldn't even touch my legs the next day. So I assume to be like that, going forward.
You need that guy in the morning.
Yeah.
Is any party like you just want to just already party? You're like, shit, I'm in third place. This is a crazy stacked crowd, 40 people.
No, not at all.
You got it all under control. You're just like, all right.
No, I wouldn't say I have it all under control. I just have 6 events left, man. But exactly that. We have 6 events left. Like 2 events is cool, but it's all about being as consistent as possible across the weekend. So got a lot more work to do.
Yes, you sure Phil isn't a UFC guest. Yeah, he does have a little bit of a UFC vibe to him. I agree. How is it with the boys out there? Everyone being cool, everything chill, friendly, or is it?
Yeah, I mean James keeps it light. He's such a funny kid. I actually just met him in person like yesterday for the first time, and I was like, man, you are something. I love him. And Dallin's more my speed, where we kind of just leave each other alone and just holler at each other if we need each other. But it's great, and it's cool seeing them both have a pretty strong showing on day one. I mean, obviously Dallin is ahead of me, so he's doing great.
And you're referencing them because they are your brute training partners in Florida under Matt Torres out there.
Yes.
And is he? I'm assuming he's here and he's coaching all 3 of you.
Yep.
All right. Is there anything you want to say to this guy before we let him go? We're approaching our 10-minute where he turns into a pumpkin.
John?
Phil, did you expect to be top 3 after today with your own expectations?
I don't think I really had expectations for placements. More so, I had goals for workouts. Like I said, the first one I was super nervous about. Wasn't really sure. But the second one, like I knew I could potentially win that one. Just came down to executing, and that was Matt does a really good job of just telling me, he's like, if you execute it how you want and let the chips fall where they will, because that's what it's about, and you can't control what other people are going to do. So that's just really where I wanted to be, is happy with my execution, and I'm pretty happy with it.
Dude, thank you. You're the best, Phil. Thanks for doing this, brother. I know it's late. Good luck tomorrow. We'll be cheering you on.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
As long as you're not next to Colt Mertens, we'll be cheering you on.
Later, Phil.
Thank you, Will. Phil Toon. Jason Hopper is Phil Toon, who's still a virgin. You know that? Like they're the same guy, but just Phil Toon's just been around a little more. Just a little bit more. A little more life experience. Jason Hopper worked at the church, and Phil Toon worked at the gas station. They're just different. They're just
tattoo
different.
parlor.
Yeah, tattoo parlor. Yeah, they're just different.
Construction worker.
Yeah. Jason Hopper has a AAA card when he gets a flat. Phil Toon gets out there and changes it. It's just slightly, just a different kind of man.
I heard you guys killed it today.
That's what you get, Hopper, for not coming on. Just a bunch of shit talking coming your way till the job's done. Hopper, you get your ass on here.
This is part of the job.
Yeah. Thank you, John. It is part of the job. Yeah. Probably. Jason Hopper's wife changes the flat. Exactly. Jason Hopper, how dare you deny me to Rogue and now Wodapalooza not coming on the podcast? I'm gonna call your mom. I send Phil Toon over to your room and beat your ass.
We need to get Grace Hopper on.
Yeah.
Grace,
I think she's too cool for the show. Not like she doesn't think that. I think she's like that. I would need to really clean up my act. I need to get baptized again or something.
Again.
Yeah.
You did tell that story one time.
A third time.
I was no. That wasn't. No. That was a different. I was actually dipped in water. That one.
Really? In an ocean, saltwater, freshwater. What are we talking?
No, just in the
fully immersed.
No, just at the church when I was a little baby. You know,
it was a toilet. It was a swirly, actually.
Yeah.
And it was just his face, and it was a guy in the bathroom at a bar, and he flushed the toilet.
Guys, this is
the
going
name
to
of the
be,
Lord.
This is going to be a recap show. Everyone's had a long day today. We're going to try to get through this rather quickly. Our main focus is going to be the men's elite, the women's elite, and then teams, men and women. And then Brian, if anything, saw anything else crazy there on the ground today, he will fill us in. But before we get started, there's two things I would like to ask Brian about, two debacles we saw as viewers. Early on, there was in heat number 1 of the men's event, there in that interval workout, there was supposed to be a break between the intervals. It was 3 minutes on, 1 minute rest, 3 minutes on, 1 minute rest, etc. And there was a heat where they didn't rest. Can you tell what happened on the floor down there? And then how did they fix that for the scoring?
Well, it was just a miscommunication. The MC had called time, and I don't know why. That was the one time of the whole day that none of the athletes or judges seemed to respond to it on the floor. And he got a little confused. He thought he's like, did I call it at the wrong minute? Why aren't they stopping? And it took basically 30 seconds of this confusion before everyone was like, no, you guys need to stop. You're on your rest interval. But they just kept the clock rolling. And so they were 10 seconds, and half the guys are still walking down the floor to their ropes for the last round. And basically this ended up being a huge disadvantage for those guys, I think. And that's kind of what the competition team agreed as well. And so I think they actually just let it ride, because they got 30 seconds extra work, but the 30 seconds less rest was more detrimental. And so I think they ended up just letting it be.
So we don't even know what happened. It could have just been at the perfect time the music played a note that canceled out the guy's voice.
Something like that, yeah.
And so no one fucked up. No one lost their job over that.
No.
Well, cool. That's good to hear. And then as I think it was John Young says, who gives a shit? It was just the first heat. Those guys suck anyway. Not nice, John.
That's what I said. Word for
Not
word.
nice, John, but the sentiment is agreed by many. Not everyone can be as honest as you.
John wishes
Brian,
he was in that heat.
I do. Yeah.
Brian, do you have time before your Frisbee golf tournament starts? I forgot about that. Thank you, Corey. Corey is saying that you have a tee time in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I brought my glow discs down. You know, in Miami, they like the neon lights, so I lit them all up, and we're gonna go play in the night.
There was a worm debacle in lane 1 Was it lane 1? It was the Hustle team. The guy barely spoke English. Someone on our broadcast thought he spoke English, but I don't think he spoke English. I think
Was
he
it
was like
the team of Will Kane and Mikey Steele and Whittrop? Was it that team, Brian?
I'm not sure. I don't think I actually saw.
But do you know what we're talking about? They said 3. Okay, they said 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, he doesn't even know.
There was no worm for them.
Yeah, they were in lane 1 and there was no worm, and they were supposed to be on the other side. So they ran to the other side. It's like 40 seconds in the event because it's a big, it's a big course.
It's long.
And then they were like, "Well, just wait a couple minutes and we'll start you at minute 3." And you can
or did he say minute 4? Either way,
it doesn't matter. We'll start you on your own clock. And because there was a worm on lane 19 or whatever.
So they started a few minutes late and then finished a few minutes late.
Yeah, dude, but I think they killed it. Clock. Maybe.
Yeah, they it's like all the other teams played rabbit for them almost, because it seemed they were done just a little bit after the other team. So I think they had a good team.
How they end up doing in that event? Do we know?
It's so hard to see the team divisions.
I know Team Mayhem got 17th.
Wow.
At that event.
You know how much heat I took after they won the first event like that?
Oh, on the comments, these freaking people. Well, I know you weren't watching our podcast, but Will, am I wrong? Like up and down, everybody was calling me like I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like, just I'm telling y'all, they're not gonna kill it every event.
I mean, look, I do want to say, watching them do that event was probably the most impressive thing I saw today. I mean, that was crazy. And you're talking about,
tell us what the event is, Brian, so people.
It's it was the team flip sled event. And so in each 5-minute round, in an alternating order, 3 people have to do 100 double unders, then 30 GHGs, then start flipping the flip sled. So if me and John were on the team, in round 1, it'd go you, and as soon as you finish your double unders, I can start. You do your GHGs. When that clears, I can move up, and then when I finish mine, I can come help you on the sled. And John's falling blind. Then we all rotate up 1. I go first, John, you, and then John.
That's cool.
Whatever their last order is.
Yep.
But the thing is, there's no teamwork in this event, really. I mean, at every point of the workout, you're doing the work by yourself. The only teamwork could be like, I flip it, you flip it, John flips it. I flip it, you flip it, John flips it, if we all get there. And you're talking about Noah Olson, Travis Meyer, and Chandler Smith. I mean, 3 potential top 10 games athletes in any of the last 3 years, depending on how things shake out. And obviously Rich Froning. But besides that, you have Angelo DiCicco, who's kind of making an attempt to come back into the sport after potentially debilitating back injury. Well, that's to lift up that 560, 600-pound, whatever sled it is. I mean, his back's obviously healthy. And I'm pretty excited just for him for this next season after seeing that. And then Luke Parker, who's this guy, he's like pretty brand new to the space, but people talk about this all the time. This is the Froning effect, man. It is so crazy how people line up on the floor as a part of his team. And I mean, Luke Parker was hunched over on the floor. Froning flipped it like it's no problem, and he just goes, "Get over here." And Luke just get it and flipped it. Rich flips it immediately. And you've seen this with every male partner that Rich has paired with over the years. They're going back and forth on barbells. The guy cleans it. Rich cleans it immediately. And he's like, your turn. And Rich never does 2-1. He makes the other athlete match him. And you know that that's happening in training too. And then suddenly you see this elevated level of these guys. It was really, really impressive.
Well said. And so they are in 7th place right now with that workout that Brian just talked about. They beat the 2nd place team by 1 minute and 45 seconds, which is pretty crazy. Is it minute? Yeah, 1 minute and 45. Yeah. But then unfortunately they took a 17th place, which knocks them down to 7th place. And what's interesting is look at the Smith brothers. Alec picked up. Smith Bros. Alex Smith picked up Sam Dancer and Katrin Doder's ex-boyfriend. Yeah. And they did great too. They're 1 place ahead of Mayhem.
So all 3 of those guys have experience competing on the team division at Wodapalooza here. And but it was a very last minute thing. But I think that it's one of those where maybe not having so much stress about it coming in for Street and Sam, that they're just like, this is a fun opportunity. I love this competition, and I'm a late invite, but I'm happy to be here and throw down. And kind of that care. I can't remember who we were talking to. I think it was Vellner, like that competing free feeling. Maybe they're obviously all very talented, and don't forget what we've been hearing is that Alec is intending to come back and be pretty serious this year. So,
hey, but what was Street Horner's status last year? Sam Dancer's retired, right? I mean, he's an underwear model now, and and he does like charity work.
He owns that Strong Coffee Company. I actually talked to him and the founder of the company today as well. But Street. I personally, I think Street should compete on a team. He's had such good success when he's been on teams, and his individual career kind of spiked, and he hasn't been able to get back to that point in 4 years. So if I was Street, I would say, you know what, I'm having fun doing it. I'm getting good results doing it. I'd like to see him go on a team this year.
So were Dancer and Street Horner just happened to be there? Was this like literally last minute and Alec walked by?
No, it was really last minute. I don't think Dancer was even planning to come.
Wow.
In conversation with him, it sounded like he had to arrange tickets, and I don't know if Jen's here with him or not. I don't know what's going on, but it was definitely a last minute thing.
And then we got this bizarre thing. We have two teams with the same name tied for fourth place. How does that happen?
I thought they were going to change. One of them was going to change their name, but both of them claimed that the other one stole their name, and so they just decided to ride it out, and they turned the number into the word on one of them or whatever.
They have a fourth and a ninth, and a ninth and a fourth.
I know, it's pretty funny.
No, this is crazy.
But I'll tell you what, I don't know which one of them it is, the TWO or the 2, but one of them has this guy Giannis Papadopoulos on it, who's like popped up here and there and won a strength event. John, I think he might have won the deadlift at the one of the rounds this year. And at the end of that workout, I'm not kidding you, he did 4 flips in 15 seconds.
I saw him.
That's crazy.
One movement. It just.
How much was that? The men's weight was like.
I think it was over 600 pounds.
I think it's 580.
580, and he just like pushed the other guy out of the way, and he just goes boom, 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 and I was like, oh my gosh.
And then the other guy did 1 flip, and he did 2 more, just like that. It was probably 6 flips in 30 seconds with one guy doing another flip in the middle of it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Gina, thank you. Super duper 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 kind. All right, and then we have the Invictus team. These are the guys out of San Diego.
Yeah, but it's not the like usual crew that you might expect. However, Joshua Achama's on that team, and he competed with Sam Briggs and a couple others and podiumed at Wodapalooza 2 years ago. Eric Harmony's on that team. He's a very good team athlete. And then they have, who's the third guy, John? Why am I just drawing a blank right now? It's Eric, Josh.
Ryan Souter.
Yeah. Ryan Souter. And Ryan's also competed here. He actually did really well one year with his brother, Zach Souter, and another guy named Zach Watts. So they, again, and this is the thing about the elite teams of 3 that we've been saying, like they have had legitimate teams and athletes competing in that division forever. And as we see here, a lot of those guys are now coming back and taking this opportunity to do it again. And they have a decent amount of experience with the teamwork, synchronicity, strategizing, worm stuff. And that's why you see all these teams up at the top, even after just one day.
Was this Greek guy, this Papadopoulos guy, was he barefoot?
Yeah.
In socks. We talked about that with Phil Toon when he was on the podcast.
Like last week, you mean?
Yeah.
Or like just now?
No, last week.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow. Okay.
And then you haven't asked about the Thunder from Down Under. Like I wasn't really sure about James Newberry and Con Porter because they've been doing so many different things this year between the travel. I think they're kind of in some business pursuits and all this crazy stuff. They just got here from Australia. And then they just pick up a teammate, Matt DeLugos, but they looked really good. And like in the moments where it mattered most, they were like, you could see that they went into that competitive mode and like, made the efficient move or got another rep of the flip sled right at the last second or whatever. So I was really impressed with them today.
Juan Lamb, thank you. Can you drop, sorry, John, real quick. Will, can you open that up, the Thunder Down Under tab, click on the triangle. Sorry, go ahead, John.
Did you see DeLugos pushing Con and James in the second event?
Yelling at them.
They were on the nines. And they ran to the bar, or not, they walked to the bar. James and Con are tired. They are like on their knees. And DeLugos is yelling at them, like, let's go football type yell, like, get it together.
Hey, no,
Yeah.
you know what he said to them? He said, "Do you want me to send you back to Australia to one of those quarantine camps, you jackasses?" That's because DeLugos is an American and he's yelling at his Australian buddies. "You want to go back to a quarantine camp, you sons of bitches?"
Well, let me just throw this out there. I will wager, because I mean Dulugos is a big, tall dude, and he's going to have an advantage over those guys on the bike. I will wager that at some point this weekend they're both looking at him and saying, "Come on, man, let's go."
You would think so. That was the neat part about it. He's supposed to be the least fit of the three. You know what I mean?
Hey,
No, I
mean,
just so you guys
there'll
know,
be
that's Brian flexing on us that he knows something we don't know. He
What?
knows
On the
something we.
events.
Yeah, one
No,
of the events.
what I know is something that you do know. It's that the 6'4" guy is going to struggle once they kick upside down,
Yeah.
and these guys are going to be cruising.
And then at the top of the heap, no surprise, where they should be. Travis Mayer, Noah Olson, and Chandler Smith.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the very worst, you're still looking at 3 of the 20 fittest guys in the world, and obviously we talked about Rich. I mean, watching Rich Froning today makes me think that he still is the best that ever did it. Like it was really crazy the way he moves, breathes, composes. I mean, it's so impressive. But it takes, like, these 3 guys are all kind of, still amazing, and they know each other well, and they have fun, so they're competing free, but they're also competing fit. And I mean, I was like, I'm curious how these guys will split up the worm, and Noah goes straight to the front of the worm. Like, I thought Travis might take the front of the worm, or Chandler, because they're probably stronger than him, but Noah went right up there. Travis took the back, and they didn't seem to have any problems.
And Noah has COVID and a broken penis.
And he's down like 40 pounds.
Yeah, crazy.
Is he still one? Does he look 170, Brian?
I don't know. I actually didn't. I saw Travis and Chandler at the end of the night, but
I think he
Noah
dropped to
wasn't with them.
185, by the way, not 170.
Well, no, I know. But I think in his Instagram post, he was 178. Like, he got all the way down to that low, and then he bumped back up to 185. But it was something crazy from 200 pounds. Like, it was.
He looked fine. He looked good. Like, there was nothing that made me think like, oh man, he's lost something.
Mm-hmm.
Listen up, people. Did you hear what Brian said? These are at worst 3 of the 20 fittest men on planet Earth. Okay, let's move to the women. It's crazy. It really is a crazy team. It's a cool team. I mean, it's nuts. We had a okay, let's go over to the women. I was going to do the teams.
Hey, I want to say this women's teams of 3 is going to be way more interesting than we thought.
I know.
I definitely underestimated those Oslo Wolfpack girls.
Team Krieger.
But Team Go Wide is hanging tough too, and those 3 teams have finished 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 3, or whatever it was. Yeah, 1, 1, 1, 3, 3, 2. And then Born Privineges have also looked very good with 4th, and so this is the thing on the women's side. One bad event keeps you off the podium, because look at this, 4 teams top 4. So if you slip up at any point, there's not enough depth in the field to like overcome that. You have to continue to have top 3 finishes if you're these teams, and hope that the other one makes a mistake. And honestly, I mean, at least Krieger and Mayhem, it's like really hard to imagine them not finishing in the top 3 of any workout, except for maybe
the next event.
The lifting event is just like that. That's that one weird one, and so that's the one I'm going to be looking at tomorrow morning for this division. And if one of these 4 teams drops off a little bit on that one, then I honestly think they're probably not like that's it for them. I also want to point out the team in 5th, that 3 Blind Mice. That was the top team in the online qualifiers, and it is cool to see that a lot of people are like, oh, the invited teams are just going to run away with it. But I know those 3 women, they've been working hard in this off season. They're really good friends, and they were like anxious and excited to prove that they could compete with some of these invited teams. So really good first day for them as well.
That's a pretty hardcore CrossFit gym right there. I've seen that name around forever. CrossFit Paradiso. Where is that? Why do I know that name? Is that
where are you seeing that?
Madison McHale
Madison McElhaney. Yeah, she's an incredible gymnast, by the way. And CrossFit Milford's been at the top of the games before. CrossFit Hype's been competing with teams forever. So there's a lot of experience here, and they have some history. Those gyms all have history.
Do you know, go back down a little bit, Will, do you know those women who are on that team with Kristen Holta at the very top of there? Oh, it's a gym in Los Angeles. That's how I know it. It's a pretty big, trendy gym. Cool. They have cool people in and out of there. I think they have a lot of UFC fighters, maybe too. CrossFit Paradiso. Okay,
Are
sorry.
you talking about Lena Richter and Ingrid Holden?
Yeah. Do you know
Holden?
do you know those women, or do you know of them? Have you seen them compete before?
I know of Ingrid Holden. I don't know of Lena Richter. Do you, Brian?
Yeah, these are the women from CrossFit Oslo Wolfpack second place games team this past summer.
Okay,
and if you look at them compete, their physiques and builds almost are the mirror image of Andrea Nisler and Taylor Williamson. One of them is a little taller and darker hair. One of them is a little shorter, but with blonde hair. All four of them are very strong and move very well. And if I was thinking about creating a team, knowing how important it is to have women that can hold their own, I mean, these are the two best teams in the world this year, and they have very similar kind of pedigrees and even just makeup of their bodies.
I shit you not. When Haley and Taylor and Andrea Nisler were walking to the worm, it looked like they were having a competition to see who could walk the slowest and be most chill. Like they'd just taken a bong rip and they were just like, I mean, they were so chill. There was like no urgency.
And if you watched in the first round with the 30 thrusters, I was with a few people who were like, "What are they doing? Why are they putting it down?"
Yeah, we were watching.
They switched positions, picked it back up, and by the end of the workout, they're right there in the top 3.
Yeah, there's no panic in them. I don't think it's. I think it's just supreme confidence.
Yeah, and a lot of experience.
Scroll down. Is there any? Let's look at the third team a little bit. Dig in there. This team Go Wad.
Yeah, 3 girls from 3 different European countries, and they are all pretty good friends, actually. A couple of them, Solveig won the Madrid CrossFit Challenge.
That's Snorri's girl, right? Does Snorri represent her?
Not 100% on that.
Okay.
And Julie also did well in that competition, and I think Mia might have been there as well because there's a good picture of them all from there. But I projected this team second, and they've looked really good so far. But again, just pretty good individual athletes that also have some experience with each other. Mia Hesketh's done a lot of team stuff, so I think they'll be right in the mix on pretty much every event.
Before we leave these women, this Born Primitive Underdogs, this is this Justin Kotler's team from his gym?
Yeah, and most people will know Allison Scudds, of course. The other 2 are probably less likely to be known. We did talk about them. I think John might have projected them 5th, and I had them 6th or something like that. But they've looked great. They have incredible chemistry, both on and off the competition floor. And I was a little bit worried about them on the bike, but no problem at all.
Allison Scudds is the last demo team captain under the Dave Castro.
Bone and marrow. Bone.
None of this would be possible if it wasn't for ancestral supplements. That's not true. Not none of it. Just not nearly as good. Okay. Let's go over. John, is there anything you want to say about these women before we move?
No, I mean, Alex Kazan is an up-and-comer. She's a beast. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw her in the women's individual in the next couple of years. But other than that, you guys said it all.
In the name, I'm guessing Born Primitive. I think I have some of their shorts. I think they make shorts with Josh Bridges' name on them. And Underdogs is the training camp in Los Angeles Las Vegas that's gaining a lot of notoriety. And Justin Kotler is making a pretty serious name for himself and his athletes. And we invited Justin to come on the podcast, and he told me to go fuck myself. No, I'm joking. He said he'll come on. After Wodapalooza. Very, very kind. Yeah, he's a gentleman.
Yeah, I actually when I heard this morning that Ricky might have to withdraw, they were in an athlete briefing, and I just went right up to him and sat down next to him, and he was like super honest with me, super nice. Didn't feel like I was invading on them at all. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he responded very quickly and was very sweet in his words. Anything before we start? Any other words on Ricky? I mean, it is food poisoning, right? It's just that he probably lost a lot of weight from COVID and his sickness there. I DM with him a little bit, and he said he was basically locked himself in a hotel room in Las Vegas for days and days and days.
No, Ricky's definitely bummed, and I
Have
think
you
even
seen
this
him?
morning,
Have you seen him?
yesterday I saw him. I did not
Okay.
talk to him.
Okay.
Today I didn't see him today, but he was vomiting and diarrhea this morning and just feeling food poisoning type symptoms, but he still wanted to compete, and Kotler had to tell him, like, no man, you're already down. He said he was down 10 pounds from the COVID thing, or from his weight at Dubai, and then he obviously had this thing this morning. And I said to Justin, I said, that's why he needs someone like you. He needs someone to tell him the hard truth when he needs to hear it, and it's for his good. So I think that it's a bummer not to have him here, and obviously would have been excited, as the field is really, really competitive, and it would have given us a little bit more feel of where he is at compared to the larger scope of CrossFit right now. And we saw some things in Dubai, could have seen a lot more here, but this was the right decision for him today. And now he can focus on getting ready for the season, and we'll just have to wait for the next chance to see him with some of these guys.
Yes, and with that, let's go look at the elite men.
Let's do it.
Event number 1. Will you tell us what event number 1 is, and if there were any surprises?
Yeah, flipped off with the flip sled. So these guys had an interval style workout, 3 minutes on, 1 minute off for 3 rounds, and then 4 minutes at the end to try to finish. And basically it was a certain number of flips. So they had to get it down the floor and then back down the floor to amass 30 flips. And if after the 30th flip, they could race down the floor and hit the buzzer. And not very many men were able to do it. And then all of a sudden Taylor Self, it was the women that really, really struggled to do it at all. A couple of the guys did it, and then Taylor Self did it in 3 rounds. And we knew that Taylor and Jason Hopper had access to a flip sled because J.R. Howell programmed with flip sleds at the Crash Crucible competition in October and kept a couple of them. But as soon as Taylor started doing this sled, he had this little technique where he would get it on his hip and do this little like dip and bump before he press it over, and it looked so smooth and effortless. And I was very impressed with Taylor's, not just his technique there, but also his just overall composure and execution on that event. Obviously, we see that second event wasn't that good. But what was more impressive was that I am convinced these athletes are so good that I think some of them saw him doing that, knowing that he'd used it, and then were able to just in one day, maybe even in one attempt, emulate his process of moving that and then do it. And I think that Vellner was doing it, but not as cleanly as Froning was doing it. It was the same technique if you go back and watch the video. Just this little pop, dip, pop again, press.
And Taylor and Vellner weren't in the same heats.
They were not in the same heats, and it would have been super fun to see them go head-to-head here because they were, kind of well clear of the field. But Alexander Caron also finished in the third interval, and finishing in that third interval was critical. I actually talked to Caron after that, and he's like, dude, I did not want to pick up that last one, but I knew that it was better than doing 100 more reps if I didn't have to.
Hey, so were you suggesting that Patrick saw Taylor using that technique in the heat before him,
or in the warm-up area?
Interesting. Oh, that's a great question. We got to ask Patrick that to see if there's any truth to that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure.
Right.
But here's the thing that also happened.
And kudos to Patrick. I'm not taking a dig at it. It's a compliment, like that. Hey.
And there certainly may have been other people who were implementing it as well. It's just that Vellner and Froning ended up dominating their respective divisions with that movement. And the first person I saw kind of do it that effortlessly or smoothly was Taylor Self.
This when you look at this, you have Patrick first, Dallin fourth. No surprise, Dallin did well on that, right?
These are both workouts I would have thought he would do well on, but he looks really good. And what I really liked about Dallin today was in the second event, he didn't come out too hot. He wasn't really in the conversation in the 21s or in the first half of the round of 15s. And then all of a sudden, when they're coming to the bike, he's right up there level with Vellner. And I was like, damn, that was like a veteran move, in my opinion.
You're talking about the second event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was going back to the first event here. Jason Hopper taking an 11th. A surprise that he didn't do better?
Yes and no. I think that this was like honestly has a really similar experience to him, and it's kind of a different way to that sandbag carry event at the games, where he just kind of mispaced a little bit in round 1 and was never able to fully recover. It wasn't to the same extent. He still had a respectable finish. I mean, finishing the workout ended up being a really good performance, but I think he paid for it a little bit physically more than he had to get a similar result if he hadn't gone so hard in the first round. And he wasn't the only one to do that. Anthony Davis did the same thing in the earlier heat.
Oh yeah.
Well, a whole bunch of people did that. Yeah, almost everybody except Vellner, the person who came out first in the first interval, did not finish first. Sarah did that. Sarah paid for it bad.
Yep, that's right.
Hey, can you click that triangle next to Jason's name? I want to see what pops down. What Jimmy goes to. And then can you scroll all the way? Can you scroll down to 8th place? Colton Mertens, 20th place. So
okay, look, I had talked to JR about this, and he told me, he said it's gonna pay off to have longer levers on this flip sled. John thought that Colton might be the one guy who could kind of overcome that because he's so good at deadlifting and he's powerful. But even if you go watch the women's heat back, it's kind of random how it worked out. But in heat 2, there were 3 tall women that did pretty well. And then in heat 3, which you would think would have had kind of the better all-around athletes, they were all relatively short. Like I think every one of them was 5'4" or shorter, and none of them did very well. And so
basically the understanding is when these guys are lifting it up, and for lack of a better term, popping it off of their hip, they have it higher, they have it closer to being vertical than when Colton pops it off his hip, significantly higher, right?
Yeah, and I mean we know that Colton is the outlier on that side of the spectrum in the men's field. So to finish in the middle of a pack in a workout where that's clearly a disadvantage, I think is a great performance. And don't worry, there's going to be some workouts where it's going to be to his advantage to be that size.
I'd like to see that thing made only.
I flipped it today, by the way. I got a chance to use it.
You flipped the 500-pound one?
No, I flipped an empty one. I went to the demo. I went to their
yes.
No, I went to the vendor village. I went to the vendor village and I asked the guys, "Can I flip this?" And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "You want to show me the technique?" And he showed me 3 different techniques. And he said, "Try them all out." He goes, "Depending on how much weight's on there, you might like this, or this, or whatever." And the athletes were definitely doing some. It's all about hand placement. And there's 2 handles, one low and one high, and you can grab it overhand and kind of flip it like a clean. You can grab it on the outside, which is usually I think what they do when it's heaviest, which is what a lot of the athletes were doing today. And then there's like a kind of a mixed grip method that he showed me that I didn't think that was like the worst option.
And get your knee under it.
Yeah, but it's a little shorter than the pig, so it didn't work so well.
I saw some in the women's teams. I saw some goofy ass attempts, which brings me to this: is that thing dangerous relative to the lane placements and where people were or are? Because a few times it looked like that 500-pound sled came down cockeyed and got a little close to the man in the adjacent lane.
Dude, I had a moment of panic for Travis Mayer today because he was waiting at the end for Noah to flip it and then flip it back, and it bounced 1 inch away from his toes.
Yeah, it's something else. Did you see it ever go into anyone else's lane? Like when it starts getting all cockeyed?
Yeah, bunch of times. There were no injuries that I know of as a result of that, but it was a little bit tight out there at times. I think the floor took a beating.
It did? The floor did take a beating?
6 hours of just flipping that thing up and down.
Yeah. What's that floor made of?
Rubber, and then they tape it. I think it's the tape on the floor that probably got torn up quite a bit.
Okay. Is this the worst placement we're going to see from Colton all competition?
Probably not. I think that the run, swim, row workout will be his worst placement.
All right.
But 4th is not the best placement.
That's not the best placement. Yeah, I was going to say he beat me to it.
Oh, really? So we got a good. We're going to have some ups and downs with Colton this week.
How do you feel about his haircut?
I like it. I mean, I like everything about him. He can't do no wrong.
He's looking good.
As long as he doesn't say anything bad about
grass-fed beef organs, a mouthful of meat,
then we're fine. Okay, is there anything else we want to add to the men here? Maybe talk about event 2.
Did anybody do way better or way worse than you thought, Brian? Or just in total day 1, because I Phil and Dallin are surprising me.
Then we do have to talk about Taylor Self's second performance. There's speculation that something might be wrong with him.
I think he just.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
first of all, I'm not that surprised with Dallin on day one. I thought these would both be two of the best workouts for him. Phil Toon surprised me today. I was really impressed with the flip sled workout. I was actually kind of at the end of his lane watching him, and he had a very steady, consistent rhythm throughout. And then I honestly thought he was going to fade after he went out so hot in the round of 21, and he didn't. And Phil Toon has definitely got my attention. I think it's a good placings for like Hopper and Sager, Cornway. Like that's fine for them to be right there after this day. And then if we scroll down a little bit, same thing with Vigneault, Paulson, like fine right there, 9-10. They can still make a move if they want. It's the and then you see
Really
Scott
good day
there.
for Carone, Alexander Carone.
Yeah, he looked awesome today. But this is the 20 and 21. Yeah, Saxon and Spencer being down here, and I was, that 29th place finish for Saxon on that workout. Like if you're one of the guys who's challenging for top 5 at the games, this is not the type of workout you should be taking 29th out of 40 guys on. So that was a little bit of a letdown, that performance right there.
Especially when somebody's whose genetics are identical to yours finished a minute faster. Around a minute.
Wow, oh, you mean Spencer?
Yeah, I think it might have been a pacing thing for him to blow up that bad.
Yeah, and that workout, look, there's 20 guys or something on the floor all going at once for 5 minutes, and it's like you can't see I couldn't see the whole floor at any time, so I didn't really know. Outside of the leaders, you can kind of see him a little bit better, but he just get lost in the mix. So I don't know if maybe he went out too hot, like we said. It's definitely possible on that workout.
Go all the way down. Let's go. We still haven't talked about Taylor. I want to hear Brian's thoughts on Taylor.
So if you remember, or you guys might recall, that we've often talked about the fact that he had a pretty bad execution at the Granite Games on the dumbbell thruster and running workout, and then didn't recover from it mentally. And it was event 2 that at that competition, and he was coming off of a great event 1 in which he snatched like 295 pounds or something and looked really good doing it. And so here we have almost identical situation. Great event 1, terrible event 2 with thrusters. I think he might have been getting some no reps in the first round. I'm not sure, but I cannot really justify this bad of a performance for someone who seems to be this good. So, but then you think about what I just said about Saxon Panchik. So I don't know if there's anything wrong with Taylor or not. I haven't talked to him. I saw him walk off the floor after that, and I know from experience, like that's not the time to talk to an athlete. Just let him deal with whatever he needs
to talk to him. Absolutely.
Sousa said it was the time to talk to him.
Not for me.
Were you able to see that, Brian?
For me, it was not. But anyway,
he doesn't know what you're talking about. Real quick, Brian, go tell him, John.
So Sarah, after the first event, Sousa's looking for athletes, and it wasn't the best event for Sarah. And she's sitting in a chair, looks like she's crying. And Sousa goes, "Hey, Sarah, this is the Sevon podcast." I got right up on her, and then she like kind of waved him off, like now's not the time.
Yeah.
Goes, oh, I'm sorry. And then like walks away, and it was the most. I felt so bad for her. It was the funniest thing in the world, though.
The scoring platform is absolutely fantastic. The updates are fantastic. It's clean. It's beautiful. I mean, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. There are the website's a little wonky in terms of like some of the links you click that you think are going to bring you here don't, and then also the menu's too big. I mean, that's not their fault, but the menu's massive. So finding the scoreboard you want is hard. Brian, is there another athlete in the elite men's or the women's division that has a greater discrepancy between their first and second than Taylor Self?
I don't think so.
It's 30 places, right?
You see that text from O'Keefe?
No.
Send him the link.
Oh shit!
What?
I should have sent him the link 30 minutes ago. I forgot about him. Oh my goodness! Sorry, O'Keefe. What a clown. Let me see.
Anyway, just to finish up on that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we should talk about Ellie, but we got to see how Taylor responds to this, because he never recovered from it in Minnesota, and this even if he has a bad workout with thrusters again, if he's able to rebound from it differently here, that's a kind of growth that he can he can continue to build on. So we'll see.
Oh, I cannot believe I did not send O'Keefe a link. What a jackass. He was ready 30 minutes ago.
He was
Just
waiting for you to introduce him in, Savon.
Oh my goodness, what a jackass.
Do you want to talk
Tomorrow
about the
we're not
women
going to
while
get
we're waiting for him?
access. Oh, by the way, I think we're going to get Colton Merton's coaching pass for because he didn't bring a coach, and so he's going to give it to Matt Souza. How's that? Souza's going to be there as his coach.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, all right, Colton, that was a bad workout, but come over here and get on the podcast.
Yeah.
We'll cool down later.
Oh my goodness, that's Thank you. It's not legit that I was supposed to send him the link 34 minutes ago. What is wrong with me? Shall we go over to the women?
Sure.
We're approaching an hour. And for those of you who want to watch this tomorrow, or you're coming in late, you can always check in on Apple. Will be uploading this, I'm guessing, this evening to the Savon podcast.
And if you don't know who Ellie Turner is, you could check the podcast. Oh no, wait, we never did that one, did we?
Hey. How crazy is this? First.
It was. I wasn't expecting anyone to win both of the workouts today in either the men's or the women's side. They're both, it pays to be powerful for both of them, but like Vellner said, like they're beat downs of workouts. They're hard, they hurt, and this is. I said that I was really impressed with Froning's team. This is surprising and impressive, very impressive.
Oh, tell me what's surprising about it. What have you seen her do in the past that didn't make you think that this was going to be her day one?
I think the most surprising thing is that you could win the morning workout and recover and win the evening workout. I mean, someone asked me if Vellner was going to win in the evening, and I said, I don't know. I think it'd be about fifth, but I don't see anyone winning both. But no one asked me if they thought Ellie was going to win the evening workout, but I would have said no. I don't think. All right,
Matt.
I can't hear you.
How about now, Matt?
We can hear you.
Yeah, we could hear you. O'Keefe, have you been? O'Keefe.
Can you hear us?
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear you guys. Can you speak?
Yes, I can speak. I speak 2 languages. Padev, inch that's Armenian. And hi, how are you? That's English.
So it's going to be a really interesting interview. So today.
Buenos dias.
Did I do something wrong?
Hey, maybe take your AirPods out. Oh, can we take the AirPods. Here, I'll text him. And just use your phone. Let's see. Oh, his AirPods aren't chosen. Yes.
Can you hear us now?
Attaboy. He might have to redo it. His AirPods hadn't connected. You know, I have that problem with my AirPods all the time. So much so that I stopped using them.
He's got a special kind of AirPods, though. He was telling me.
What's up, O'Keefe? Can you hear us?
I can now. How are we doing?
Good. Do you have your AirPods in? Like, are they working?
I do. Yep, I hear you guys now.
Is there something special about your AirPods? Brian said that they were special.
Yeah, I'm wearing Apple AirPods right now. I have AirPods that I posted about that are dead now because I used them too much today. But they're daughter audio.
Oh.
Yes, Annie and Catherine started an earbud company.
Good job missing the opportunity to market those. Smooth, buddy.
Yeah, I tried. You didn't point them out. I think I had them on last night.
Darn it. Sorry about being late. Well, Brian came on and I got mesmerized by his voice and forgot to send you a link. And I'll do 100 burpees tonight before I go to bed. I apologize.
Oh, I like that. Thank you. That's probably on me. I should have followed up. So apologies.
No, you demand. Where are you? And are you ready for bed?
I am. Yeah, I am. I'm in the hotel lobby, the Intercontinental, which is essentially connected to the park that we build the event in. So we just had our head staff meeting. We had a volunteer briefing. Everything has been delayed because we got monsoon rain the 2 prior days. So it's just a lot of catch up. We're up very, great. Later than I want to admit to. There wasn't a lot of sleep. I told somebody today, I went to the Whoop booth and then said, my Whoop is broken. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I was like, it's telling me I had a 20 strain yesterday and I didn't work out. They're like, yeah, you're broken. It's not the Whoop. So that's about what went on. It was a long night, but we got it and we got going. So I feel good right now. I've had a little too much caffeine, so I'm hoping to come down off that soon.
Yeah. Will you go after you get off this podcast? Will you go to bed?
No.
More work to do. You get in front of a computer.
Yeah, I gotta catch up a little on email, and then I'll probably have to just run over. There's some people that'll be doing some signage stuff in the park for a bit, so I just want to make sure I go check on them.
And then what time will you get up tomorrow morning?
I'll be up. I'd really like to work out in the morning, so I'll probably get. There's some guys in from CrossFit actually. Paul Tremblay.
Good dude.
In a group, so they're gonna work out at 6. We'll see what that looks like when I get up, 10 minutes before then to go work out. But that's the plan.
Is that rain we hear right now?
Sorry, is that annoying? That sound?
No, it's not annoying. It's not annoying. Okay. No.
Yeah, but it's like a fountain behind
because when you said monsoon, I was like, dang.
Yeah.
Give it just how was the day? Everything go good according to plan? Anything extraordinary? The stands look packed.
Never goes according to plan. Good night.
All right.
Thank
you. guys take it easy.
I was saying good night to Matt.
It didn't look like a Thursday. It looked like a Saturday.
Yeah, it was so crazy, honestly. So to answer the first question, I mean, and you've been around a big event, the games. Nothing really goes to plan. It's just events are eventful. So no, but nothing crazy. Like a couple little things, and the team did a great job pivoting with it. And, we work in a weird piece of property, so it's a little bit of a tough thing to plan for sometimes because we build stands. Think about this, just one component. You can then kind of think of the rest of it. It just if the bleacher company puts the bleachers like 6 inches closer on the, because it's just a blank piece of land, right? Shortens the floor a little. So, it's, the layouts are on the fly sometimes. I mean, we plan like any major competition does, but I think we're incredible at it, honestly. And, but Brian helped today with something. The bikes were too close to the end. It wasn't going to be as great a finish. So there's just been little things like that. The cool part is everybody there cares, and a guy like Brian put his hand up. He's like, hey, man, I think that's going to look terrible when people finish this awesome workout. You got to move the bikes back. And we did, So those little things like that.
When you say back, you mean away from the stands a little bit?
Well, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So that, there was a get off the bike and a lean for the buzzer that was, in case there was a race and somebody drove, it would be more profound.
And what's funny is some people did fall under the stands there. Like the competitors actually rolled into the curtain and then were gone. I think Vellner, half his body vanished under the stands there.
He's looking for his soul under the stands.
Yes. Yes.
That was a tough. Brooke Wells just got here and watched, and I was watching it. I'm I feel bad. That's such a good workout. And it's an incredible test, and it's so different than what they've ever experienced in the past with the, now it was the Echo bike. We used the Assault before. It's just a little bit different machine. It's hard. You can race the Assault, you can't the Echo, and that workout hurts. I mean, if you want to look at a workout that hurts the most, that would be on the list.
Hey, when you say you feel bad, you mean because it hurt so bad? It hurt the athletes so bad?
Yeah, I mean, those guys are all my friends,
Oh, come on. Would TDC, would Dave Castro ever feel bad?
I mean, but I'm not him. So.
You are not him. No, you have a job. You have a job.
Oh, man.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, but you got to test people, and I mean, the workout's awesome, and they put on an amazing show. That was so fun to watch. And you know, those guys lay it out there. Both workouts were hard today. They get after it.
You know, like you'll have certain things you do, and like you think it'll be a good idea to have your parents there, and it's just not, or like you'll have your kids there, you think it's a good idea, and it's not. And as you mature, like you're just like, yeah, like that wasn't smart. Like I'm just divided. I'm not my best to anyone. So you're the event organizer, you're a father, you're a husband, and you're a manager to some of the greatest athletes on the planet, definitely the biggest ones in the sport. Is any part of you like, okay, this is too many worlds like colliding, like, and you're an event organizer, and then it's not just CrossFit events, it's like on top of that, it's a bigger event organizer, like music festival. I mean, is any party like, okay, next year don't invite my mom and Matt, I'm sending to the Caribbean, like that was too much?
It is. That's very well described. It's man, I love to be, you know, I love all of what you just described. You know, it's funny, like, and I know you're not saying this, but like, you know, one of the things that always comes up with, you know, and there's been some profound statements put out about it is, you know, a manager owning an event and programming. And it's like, well, you know, the only people that are conflicted, you know, are conflicted. Like they, you know, I have this thing called integrity, and I would never put anybody in a position that was going to be something that they had to live with, or would be, you know, something that would be put against their name that they won because of, you know. So that part is so simple to me because I have integrity, and I know I would never tell somebody something like that. I handle my business the way I handle it, and it's the right way. It's up, you know. So that part, and I know that's not what you were saying, but I always like to point that out because it's important, you know. And I've always had too much going on in my life. It's like you know, it's something I love chaos, you know, and I like to be tested, you know. It's what attracted me to CrossFit, you know. It's like I just like to be pushed, and you know, I love that. You know, it's a lot. I have hundreds of people as guests here. My family's here, but you know, it's all awesome, you know, and it's what I want to be doing. And if I, you know, there are times I've like you're like, okay, I'd like to just be an agent again, you know. But it's like, and it's yeah. And then I get to speak to 1,000 volunteers tonight that pay to come down here and take their time. And it's just like, man, they do that and take our leadership and my lead, you know. And it's like, I love it. You know, I feel like I would be letting them down if I didn't, you know, do all those things. And you know, you talk about like Matt being here, and it's like the one unique place that I don't have like my eyes on him at an event all the time, because he's a unique challenge at events. Just everybody wants a photo, and you got to get him from point A to point B. You know, he does his thing. We have to give him some help, but you know, it's they're all here, right? And it's just like they come here for that. So you know, that was all that ruckus around here. Was Matt was down here and taking photos in the lobby, and just awesome, man. I don't yeah, I'm gonna be pretty tired on Monday, but this is my Super Bowl.
Oh, would you get a break after this? Will you take any time off?
I really don't, honestly. I'll take a couple days the end of next week. I got a lot of work to do Monday, Tuesday, and a little Wednesday here, breaking down and cleaning up some of the business side of things. And so I will probably take like Thursday and Friday off, and then I'm back. Like I got some travel with a client at the beginning of the following week. We're back, you know, no rest for the weird.
Our phone connection there has been amazing. We had 3 additional streams coming live from the floor today that were unique to the show, just from iPhones. We kept them going the whole time. Your staff gave us amazing access. Sousa was just all over the place. And yeah, thank you. It was amazing. We had a great day. We had a ton of viewers. And we're stoked. And of course, the athletes have been fantastic with us. We even, you know, right before you came on, we had Phil Toon on. We had Colton Mertens on today, Rich Fronings, the Panchicks. I mean, it's been cool. So thank you.
I hope they're all
for everything.
having a great day. Well, listen, thank you. And I'll say it every night we come back and talk. You know, we had our biggest day in our media history.
Awesome.
You know, the broadcast was amazing. Those guys crushed it. We haven't had, we've set the bar obviously pretty low with what we've done in the past. But that was as good as I've seen, you know, and again, it's a uniquely challenging place to broadcast, and Brian can attest to that. And those guys knocked it out of the park today. We got insane concurrency. Like, there's a lot of views. So I'm so pumped, man. I'm buzzing right now. I don't think I'm gonna be able to sleep tonight.
Are there more vendors here this year than there have ever been?
No, less. We intentionally took less to.
It feels like there are a lot.
There are. I mean, it was as that. You know, we have 80 brands. I think here 85 brands. I think it is. But in the past, like 2020, we had over 100. We intentionally reduced that because, you know, I think instead of just stuffing people everywhere, like just, you know, selling out and capping it and, you know, giving everybody a really good experience is something we needed to focus on. And we reconfigured the property a little to help with that. But I mean, Brian can tell you, I literally looked up today and I was standing with Dylan and I was like, man, it's Thursday. I was like, it feels like Sunday right now. You know, and there was
You mean like the last day?
It was stuffed. The seats were stuffed, and
Yes.
you know,
Oh yeah.
it was insane. And it was, you know, it's been a uniquely exhausting year, but it was, man, we got 3 days. We haven't like most people have not even started this yet. That was something we talked a little bit about in our leadership meeting. It was like, hey guys, by the way, tomorrow is the beginning for a lot of people. So,
Hey, so it was free today.
we do that every year. Yeah.
We forgot to announce that yesterday. That's really, really cool. So that's
Yeah.
it was free today, and you said you expanded those stands from 3,000 to 5,000. I expected no one to be there on Thursday because it is like that, to be honest, at the CrossFit Games. It's very, very bare on Thursday. And at one point, from our perspective, it looked like the seats were completely full. The beer garden was going off. It was like, holy cow.
And when you see that, it's something we hope to bring to life through the broadcast, you know, at some point throughout the week, is when you see that, what you don't see is the activity that's still going on under the tent and the fountain and the partner quad. It's just a unique event where, you know, not everybody's there to lock in when the elites are on the floor.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was standing room only on Thursday, which is a crazy thing to think about. So, I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to talk tomorrow night because there's people who are part of it know there's like Friday night's an iconic moment, Saturday night's an iconic moment, Sunday, you know, Saturday afternoon is, so Friday night is on Bayside. We always cap our night, which is the stage on the water, and it just has some unique views with palm trees and big buildings behind it, and we always use a certain tone with the lights, you know, and it's just a very tight space. I'm just like pumped, you know. I'm ready for tomorrow night. It'll be insane. And, you know, Saturday we'll do our swim, which is, you know, the most stressful day of my year when 2,000 people get in the ocean to swim. Hopefully they come back, you know.
Matt,
so, yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thanks,
I'm
brother.
sorry I'm rambling. I'm exhausted.
Dude, you're not rambling. I feel bad. I know you got a long time. I don't want you to. Well, all I want to do is make sure that after you get off, you're like, fuck that. I ain't doing that tomorrow. So I'd rather get off with you now. So you got, oh, that wasn't so bad.
No, I mean, listen, we'll talk, you know, about some competition stuff tomorrow. You know, I watched a bunch of it today. I don't know. I'll make sure Brian updates me before we come on tomorrow night. I don't know how much I'm gonna get to watch tomorrow.
That's Brian's job. We're not going to ask you about competition. That's Brian's job.
It was awesome. But again, grateful for you guys. Thanks for all the great coverage, and you know, hit me up. Give me a link and we'll pick a time tomorrow night.
Okay.
Give me a link.
That's Brian's fault. The link's Brian's fault.
My fault. It's all my fault. He actually reminded me. All right, O'Keefe. Thank you. Love you, buddy. Have a good night.
Yeah,
thank you.
Boys.
Thank you.
Grass-fed beef liver. You know you like it.
Are we still live? God, this show's so awesome. We rule. What time are we going on tomorrow? Oh no, shit, we're still live. Okay. Let's get back to let's finish this up real quick. Brian, you got to get to bed. And John has a job tomorrow. The women, yes. So this is where we're wrapping up. Ellie Turner. So I think the question was, what have you seen her done that makes you say, yeah, this is possible? Or what have you seen her done that makes you say, holy shit, she's on Rad 140.
Her
Sorry, Ellie. I
semifinal
know that's not
performance-
funny, and I apologize to Ellie's parents actually sincerely, because if someone said that about my kid, I'd be like, you know what, eat a dick. I'm sorry, that's not even funny.
Hey, it's a big compliment.
Yeah, I guess it's just that
The
was
fact that you don't think she can do what she's doing without some kind of help.
Okay, thank you. That's good. Yes, it's a compliment.
Oh, Ellie did great at the Torium Pro in the semifinals, and she did fine. It was her first year at the games, and we've talked about it before. A mid-20 finish for your first year at the games is expected for a young male or female that's making their first appearance there. Like, that's not bad, and it sets you up for success in the future. We talked about it a lot with the men's side, that we were looking to see how, some of these athletes and what they've done in the last however many months, and for whatever reason, things just seem to be clicking for her. She's moving well. She looks good. She's not tiring out late in the events. She seems to be picking up steam even a little bit.
She
And
prioritizes sleeping over making podcasts.
Exactly. and now let's see what happens tomorrow, because it is a 4-day competition, and it's great to have that kind of a day one. But now she's, who knows how that affects you. For some people, it might make them a little bit more comfortable. For some people, it might make them a little bit more nervous. And they'll say, wow, well, I'm up here in first place ahead of this girl and this woman and this person. And how they respond to that mentally is just as important as physically.
How old is Ellie Turner?
23.
23.
And how old is Bethany?
She is 27.
And Ellie's Australian, right?
Yes.
And how old is Danny?
Also
Danny's
around 20.
27. Bethany's 28.
Okay. Interesting. And how old is Fee Sagafi?
Fee Sagafi is 27.
So she's the young one. And Sarah's got to be up there too, right? Sarah's 29.
Yep.
So she's a baby at the top of and Emma McQuaid?
31, I think.
31.
And wow, and Ariel Lowen?
She's 27 or 28.
Emily Rolfe's 31. Lucy Campbell is young. Lucy Campbell's young.
Like 16.
No. Lucy and Freya are probably about 20.
Lucy Campbell's 25. Freya is 20.
Oh, wow.
Annika Greer and Olivia Sulek are 18.
Okay. So this is just huge for her. I mean, Sarah's the unknown, but the fact that she's hanging with and bettering Bethany and Danny is like, holy cow. Like, she's making a statement. Even if she shits the bed the rest of the week, like, this is she's proven something.
Well, what I originally thought her best event would be has not came up yet, too.
Are you on board with that, Brian?
Well, we talked about it, I think, in one of our in our preview show, right, John?
Yeah, we talked about the endurance event. It hasn't been announced, though, right?
Yes, it has.
Has it? The endurance event?
Every event's been announced except the final.
Okay, well, Ellie traditionally, every single competition she's done very, very well. Even when her first competition in any straight conditioning event, especially ones with swimming in it, and so anything like that, and one of them is coming up, she should be the favorite to win that. Bethany will be very good in that too.
So tomorrow, what you're saying is event 3 is going to be Ellie's big test. That's the strength one.
I think the thing is, though, the women's individual field is a little bit similar to what we talked about with the women's teams of 3. Like, if you just look on the screen there's 2 out of 14 performances outside of the top 10, and those are a 13th and a 14th. So the best 8 or not 10 women or whatever are pretty much going to regularly be towards the top. And if you saw the first event today, there was a noticeable difference heat by heat, with a couple exceptions, because it was the first day. They weren't necessarily seeded based on their performance this weekend yet. And so yes, as long as she's able to finish inside the top 10 in that workout tomorrow, though, then I think that she's going to have a pretty good weekend overall.
Where did you guys have her ranked in the final?
On our overall rankings, I think I had her between 7th and 9th.
And
I got it. Give me a second. So Brian had her 8th, and I had her 6th.
And in hindsight, now that you look at this, can you see her doing better than that?
Well, I think that, I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't have said that was the best I thought she could do in the best possible circumstances. But I still think that like a 5th place finish would end up being a really good weekend for her.
I wouldn't
Why
put it
does
out of
John
the realm
look
of
like
possibility for her to podium though?
Why does John look like he's running this? Corey, why do you think? Why do you think? I'll give you one guess. Give you one guess. Oh, I made Will laugh. That's crazy. I take 50% credit. I take
Would you,
50%
Brian?
credit.
Would I be surprised if she podiumed?
I said I wouldn't be surprised. I could see her podium being on the podium though as like the best she could do. I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility.
I want to go back and watch that show. I think I put her on the podium. I think I put her as 3rd. Just like I'm all in on black. You know what I mean? Like in roulette.
I think you had
Probably.
Danny Spiegel, right, Stefan?
Yeah.
Hey, Danny had a really good first day. A lot of people were not understanding why I ranked her so highly, but I mean, I'm telling you, outside of one event, she's going to have mostly good event finishes this weekend.
Scroll down here, Will. I want to see if any of the women like shit the bed, had like the Taylor self. Okay, so Lucy Campbell had an 18th and a 4th. Keep going. That's the biggest discrepancy. Oh, we have a 7th and a 21st. Paige got 2 18s. That's consistent. Keep going. Yeah. So, I mean, this is just consistent with what you were just saying, Brian. The top 10 are the top 10 here. Like there are maybe less. Like this is definitely there's an A team and a B team here.
Maybe even A, B, C, and it's okay. Like that's
of course.
That's the nature of it, and it's they send out the Loud and Live team sends out a lot of invitations to people who've proven themselves in other previous competitions, and they don't know how many are going to accept that invitation. Obviously, we had a couple on both sides that we had to withdraw late for whatever reason, but yeah, the top tier here is going to separate themselves from the rest on a majority of the workouts.
I think it was the first workout, by the way, and the commentators kept saying that Emma Tall is winning, and Will kept saying it was Ellie Turner, and then finally we're just like, fuck, I guess we can't tell the difference. We think it's Emma Tall. And then at the very end, Sean's like, oh no, we've been calling the lane wrong. That's Ellie Turner. And we were like, oh,
that's a travesty.
It wasn't a travesty for me, Brian.
No, we were celebrating. It was like, oh shit, I had it right the whole time. They had the wrong girls in the wrong lanes or something. And so it wasn't necessarily Sean's fault, but all we could do was look at him. And it ended up being good.
And you know what? Actually, so I'm at times I'm in the truck trying to make sure that doesn't happen. But for that workout, because no one was finishing it, and there was it was really difficult to get the scores. You had to literally count the number of flips or run out on the floor and ask the judge and hope that they didn't leave the floor before you could get out there to get the scoring. So I ended up staying on the floor for all of that workout. So I wasn't in the back.
Do the judges have counters?
I'm not sure.
How do they count the number of flips? Just in their head, or they have paper, or like what do they do?
They have a pen and paper.
And are they marking it?
Every judge does it differently. I think I would say there was definitely some room for error, though.
All right. Bethany would have podiumed if she didn't have to sit out the last games. I don't know about that. Is Will a young Sevon or Sevon an old Will? That's a good question.
I want to point out Fee Sagafi there in 4th place. I saw her a couple times today, and I mean, she is a very, very petite woman. Like, she's not very big, and we talked about how being a little bit taller could help on the flip sled, a little bit heavier could help on the echo bike, and with moving the thrusters, you see a guy like Jason Hopper win that workout, and we know what's kind of power output and size he has. She took 3rd place on that workout, and she's one of the smaller women out there. And I talked about her before the competition began, how we're so used to seeing her in the 7th, 8th, 9th realm, and that this is a competition where she should be pushing into the top 5 if she wants to make that next step in her career. So I would say with these 2 workouts and those 2 results, even though that we are expecting her to be in the top 10 for the most part, this is a really good start for her, and I expect her to have a couple workouts that she continued to be in the top 3 on. So she might be hanging around the podium for quite a while as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Brian, did you see the end of the women's flip sled with Taylor Williamson? Popping it up with like under a half second left to tie Kristen.
To tie, yeah, it was. Yes, I did see that.
That was maybe one of the best finishes of the day, if not the.
Yeah.
The John did an amazing job today. Khalifa did an amazing job. Souza did an amazing job. But and Will and Eva, all great. But the MVP truly was Will Brandstetter. Brian, you would have been tripping. He took the bull by the horns. He like commentated for like 6 hours straight. It was nuts. I didn't even know he was going to do that.
I didn't even know I was going to do it.
Seriously?
Was he wearing that shirt the whole day?
I mean, dude, it would have just been dead silent. It would have been like John talking and then me talking. But a few times I just got burnt out and just sat here. And Will is like watching the teams and like pointing out who's in each lane. I mean, it was nuts. It was nuts. I was like, holy shit, this is like I'm broken and Will's just escorting me through the workout. It was good. I wanted to look up who's this David Pac-Man's? Who's that? David Pac-Man? Oh, come on, man. Really?
Who is David Pac-Man?
I'm looking at this comment here. This guy said Sevon boinked David Pac-Man's mom, and now we have Will. I don't know, but this I don't know how he get. No, that's no.
David Pac-Man.
Steven, you are David Pac-Man. Look at your picture, dude. You are that dude.
He's like a Ben Shapiro type deal.
Oh,
not Republican, I don't think, but he's like one of those guys.
David Pac-Man to debate Candace Owens. All right.
What else you got, Seba?
That's it. That's all I got. Great job, by the way. Thank you. So are we going to, same thing tomorrow? Like we'll just see you like in passing and then have to wait to talk to you at night?
I have to look at the schedule more closely for tomorrow.
Hey, I will tell you this. Look at Brian just turned off. I will tell you this. We kind of fucked up here because the teams are I'm just going to be completely frank. We're not on the air anymore, right? The teams are completely.
Wait. Are we on there?
We are on the air.
We're still live.
It was a bit.
The team, thank you, Will. The teams are completely fucked because they're like if they have 3 heats, the first 2 heats of the women and the first 2 heats of the men, it's pointless. It's just for us, it's just pointless because we're already exhausted from doing the elite men and women, and then to go through all of that, and it's just too much. It's just too much. They don't have enough. The either it's a combination of our interest and the depth of talent.
Yeah, I think they should basically have the size of the elite team field here in future iterations.
Well, I'm not suggesting that. I don't know anything about that. I'm just talking about our own selfishness. Like we want to commentate.
No. There's a reason why, because you have to keep in mind that there are several divisions of teams, and with this huge number of teams competing, 35 elite women, elite female teams, we already see discrepancy between 35 women in the elite division, individual.
Yeah.
These 35 teams have 3 women each. It's 105 women competing. And we just know that the depth is not there on the women's side the same as the men. And so therefore the talent at the top compared to the talent at the bottom is a huge gap. But if you only take 20 and then you move the next 15 down to the next division, they probably match more closely with the top 15 from that division right now. And so I think that what you would end up having is a smaller gap in every division along the way as you do that, which would be, more competitive at every stop, from elite RX, intermediate to scaled, etc.
But then you'd have fewer people.
Yeah, I mean, but you could add more divisions because if you're removing heats from one, then you could add, whatever.
Okay, or what if you just did this? What if you just had the women go, the first 2 heat of the women go? Well, this would be hard. And then I was going to say, and then the first 2 heat of the men go, and then just have the last heats of the men and women go, like they do, like on the last day at the games. That would make Or
what if you knew a guy who was working the competition and he said, I think you guys should just come on for the last heat of teams.
That's
like the day before it started? Did
right.
no one didn't someone tell you what?
But here's the problem. Here's the problem. I agree. But then you still have, let's say you come on for the last heat of the women, then you still have the 2 heats of the men. Do you just log off for that? And then
I mean,
come
this is
back
what
again?
the broadcast is actually doing this.
Right,
You know?
right.
They have the soft coverage for the early heats.
Is that what they call that when Bill and Sean are getting drunk? That's soft coverage.
Mm-hmm.
They did it for the little bit we listened to them. They did a great job. Hey, dude, Jamie Hagaya.
Jamie Hagia, yes.
Yeah,
I talked to her at length today.
Yeah, that's next level confidence ground reporting. That's like no joke. That's like there's no bullshit. There's no like fake fucking like, hi, how are you? Oh, welcome. That's like she's good. That's a real deal.
I talked to her for a while.
She speaks with authority, confidence, knowledge, with none of that superficiality. Like she's not playing sportscaster.
She's naturally good at it.
Yeah, she's dope. We got to get her. If we're ever allowed to do any events besides this. Yeah, with Dave gone, we might do the semifinals and games and
Seven, just let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay,
I know all the semifinals, guys.
Thank you. Okay. I'll settle down. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Is there anything anyone else wants to say? Will, John, Brian?
Nope.
All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in for the. Thanks for tuning in for the experiment. The experiment went very well. Day 1. Tomorrow, we will go live. I think at 10 a.m. You'll know for sure shortly here on our YouTube channel, the 7 Podcast YouTube channel. And when we pop on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, it will be myself, Will, and Jason Kalipa. I believe John has to go to school or work or something tomorrow, but we'll get John back. Clinic, whatever that means. I think he volunteers at the local vet and dog shelter. But John will be back Saturday and Sunday. But we'll see you guys soon.